Uh,
Now I should just hit record as soon as we start. Just hit record
yeah,
as soon as
should.
possible. Then we'll have a lot of content for OnlyFans and just clips.
And clips and, Patreon
Everything
and that cool.
else.
Everything else.
Hey, you seem to be getting more comfortable with the mask now. What are you doing with that mask when I'm not around?
You don't want to know!
Show up at work wearing the mask one day. This is who I am now.
This is who I am. It's for OnlyFans. Let me give you in the back.
Squeal like a piggy.
Squeal! Squeal, you get the axe again. So who wants to toss axes today?
Did you
Hold on,
say
let me
axes
change
or
masks.
asses? Oh, okay. I'll compose myself.
No, you haven't.
I'm trying. Ah, Lumzer, I'm bored. What plaything do you have to offer me today?
The something out of the SK system once again, madam.
It's our
Something
Florida.
I wish it was, but I believe it may have came out of Seattle. Or is
Oh,
it
that's even
California?
worse. Coffee and grunge
Yeah.
bands and
I
lesbians.
wish it
Well,
was
you had
that
me at
subtle.
lesbians.
Same here. But
Doesn't rain all the time. Oh wait, Seattle. Yes,
no.
it does.
Yeah. No wait, that's the UK. But
Also the UK.
also the UK. But something known as the Xbox Game Showcase.
Okay, well, it looks like you have an Xbox beside you there.
Oh, yes, I do. I have it as this is my spare. Uh,
You have a spare. You're gonna keep that in the car boot. It's my spare Xbox.
the way I'm going through the equipment, I better have a damn spare. By the
Also, a
way, we still
pawn shop, and thrift store finds.
pawn shop, thrift store finds. By the way, still have that GoFundMe up in regards to if you want to don't. Uh, all funds are acceptable from $1 on up to help offset costs on my end to help get a new or newish laptop, if you will. Sorry to plug shit on Sasha's go end of things, but either way. But
We know you're sellout. We discussed that last time.
I have to be. I'm Poe.
He's hoeing
No,
himself out. Does that mean I
I
gotta wear a
have
pimp,
to.
like a
I
purple
have
suit
to,
and a
goddamn.
pimp hat? That'd be
But
hilarious.
but for the most part, we had the. It doesn't break. I had the remote upside down. I hate when that happens, but
Yeah, it works better if you're pointing it at the thing it's supposed to do. Unless it's Bluetooth, then it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. There we go. Basically, I just want to get the name of it correct. And I was watching it, I
He's
believe,
not
the
playing with
other day.
himself, I assure you.
It's something different now. I was watching a little bit through Angry Joe the other day.
Oh
The
God,
Xbox.
Angry
It's called
Joe.
the. Um, sometimes we have similar uh, impressions in regards to games. Sometimes we don't. But um, it's the Xbox Showcase that just was released. This that aired. I should say re-aired yesterday, but happened over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just them releasing a lot of their up and coming Hoot Nanny and whatnot. And what, granted, they a lot of it's the same old, same old. Forza, the new driving games coming out.
Forza?
Forza is coming out, that sort of thing. Apparently, there's new Fable 4 is coming out.
It's a
Um,
remake, actually.
there is, I think it's either a DLC for um, Fallout 76. It's going to be Atlantic City. Um,
Oh
what
boy.
But what interests me is the game called what they showed as a preview. It's called Clockwork Revolution. It has
Mhm.
a Bioshock Infinite vibe to it. So I want to see that and I want to try it out if it comes to Game Pass. But
Isn't
what
the game that they're
has
saying is like System Shock?
I think so. I'm not sure, but there was a long one. It had like another half hour, 45 minutes at the end about one of their new games that's coming out. I just lost interest in when I saw that. And it's like I don't want to hear about this game. I don't have any you know problems with it.
I'm just
I think it was like Starfield or something like that.
I'm just laughing that people still like enjoy Fable. I mean, come on, it's Peter Molyneux. Do
But
promises stuff, and you're never going to get anything out of it. Because first it was Fable 4, and then it was Fable Remake, and it's like, come on, Peter, stop lying. Tell us what it really is.
but my issue came out with right between that 45-minute game preview of Starfield or whatever it is.
Starfield looks interesting. I'm
Yeah, I
sure.
think that's what it is, Starfield. It didn't hold my attention, but they had an announcement for pretty much a new version of this. All it is the new version of the Series S. It's going to be in black, and it's going to have a terabyte hard drive.
Okay.
And it's going to be where if you bought this new in stores, it's $300. The black Xbox with a terabyte hard drive in it, it's going to be $350. And that's where watching a lot of commentators out there, the hypocritical commentators out there, some of them at that, I should say, were up in arms and showing how much of as a self-proclaimed Xbox fanboy himself, how they were showing how much of a PC or I should say Steam or Epic Play Store fanboy or a PlayStation or Sony fanboy they were, because they were like, for $50 more at $400, you could buy the all digital version of the PS5.
Okay.
Well, these are the same commentators that were touting how awesome that Series S is because it's a great entry system, and I believe it is. But the thing is, the same folks are touting the specs and the PC aspect. Is like, well, the Series S doesn't do 60 frames per second. The Series S is not 4K. The Series S is not like. Listen, mother.
How
I
many
know you
people
don't
own
care
a
that.
4K TV?
The thing is, one, not many people might own a 4K TV. Those that do, the only ones you can really tell if it's 4K are the ones that are still closer to $1,000, the high-end 4K stuff.
Right.
And you still have to, the ones that might have the mid-range that you could kind of tell, and the ones that are on the high end or anything like that, I'm talking about they are, I'll describe it like this: the Linus Tech Tips type people, they have to fiddle with all the settings and all this, that, and the other to make sure it's the highest quality and the best thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, I might not know about a lot about TVs and settings, but if you adjust the settings, how do I know that settings is going to be strictly for HDMI port 1, or is it for the whole TV?
Yeah.
And if it's for the whole TV, you're setting something that every time you go into the console,
You're gonna want to change it.
switch, you have to change it to that system. Not many people are going to do that. Not to mention, if you're, granted, I'm a little bit older, but even when I was younger, I couldn't tell the difference between 780p and 1080p. Me telling the difference between 1080p and 4K, even with the TVs next to each other, are minuscule to me. Literally, they're minuscule. For the average person, the normies out there, maybe I'm not saying you're a normie, but the normie gamers out there.
I don't know, the standards for normie dropped.
But the normie gamers out there, this is a great system to get a lot of the next gen games. And some of the folks that are complaining, well, these game companies they don't want to, they're bitching because it's a weaker console. Those are the same companies and the same commentators are saying, yeah, here's also where the hypocrisy comes in. They point to the companies that were saying that this weaker console are pointing to the reports that when this first came out. And the ones that aren't are pointing to the AAA game companies, I'll say like Bethesda and 2K, or the weaker, smaller AAA companies that couldn't put out a game well. Meaning, if it played on the high end, let's take Renfall, which is the current punching bag game-wise. It couldn't, or let's take Cyberpunk when it came out, 2077.
When it
that
came
it couldn't
out.
play when it came out.
When it
couldn't
came
play
out
well.
as in release date, or when it came out and was functional?
Release date. It couldn't play well. Granted, it was garbage, but it couldn't play well even on the best systems, on the best settings. And what some of these companies are doing, they're blaming the Series S. No, if it's not working well on the better system, you're at fault. It's not developing for this system. You're at fault, and you're just using the Series S as a scapegoat. And it's just, you hear it all the time. It's like, wish I had a bunch of extra bed sheets to put over me, because you and I are both old enough to kind of catch the reference of "Leave Britney alone."
Yes.
leave Xbox fans alone.
She has grown and changed as a person. I ain't talking about Britney. I'm not talking about Britney. I'm talking about the person whom the meme came from.
Yeah, I'm sure they've grown and changed as well.
She's changed quite significantly, hence the pronoun differences.
So I'm not knocking on that person in any way, shape, or form. It was just the whole meme back then was just, I think nobody was ragging on that person for who they were. Just the whole aspect of "leave Britney alone" was just hysterical.
Yeah.
I think that's that. And because the internet was the internet and still is the internet, we found new shit. But still, leave Xbox fan. It's still a great console. I love it. And folks, the reason why I have a spare is because my luck with shit, somehow the one that I'm using is going to go foobar, and I want an extra. I want an extra on hand. That way, all I have to do is plug it in and go. But I love it. It's my entry. If I had the funds to get that new system, the 1 terabyte, I'd definitely pick it up, and I'd have 2 spares. Maybe I'd give one to somebody else.
Ooh.
But she won't take it because the controller's too big for her hands.
It doesn't feel right.
Too big for my hands. Too big for your hands.
There are some things that are just too big for my hands that are great, but this is one of those things that aren't.
You have to get used to big things in your hands, girl.
Not today. Not when it comes to my controllers.
It has to be.
Like, I'm trying to play a video game, not give my opponent a concussion.
For the benefit.
I guess it's better than Wii controllers.
Waving it around on people's faces.
It doesn't even work.
And the thing is, the folks that are the ones that the PC fanboys are like, well, you bet if you want inferior equipment, you might as well get an Xbox. Now, if you want inferior equipment, you might as well get a Nintendo Switch. At least that you can go mobile. It's like, wait a minute, let me counter that. If I wanted a Fisher Price level console, I would get a Nintendo console. What games do they have for their console? Oh, the same three that they put out almost seemingly every year. A new Mario game, a new Zelda game, and a new Pokemon game. Anything beyond that? Not really.
I will say this. If Switch ever had the chutzpah to put on Fallout 4, I will pick that up in a heartbeat.
I think they were supposed to put some more games with meat on it for the
They have
older
Skyrim
folks.
on there. If you have Skyrim on there, you can put Fallout 4 on there.
But here's the thing. I have a tinfoil hat theory in regards to it, or Alex Jones level theory in regards to certain things. I've done a spit on here before in regards to how Sony and their affiliates, like Bethesda is an affiliate of Xbox now.
By the way, you're listening to and watching Sasha After Dark, the podcast of darkness. 15 minutes into the episode, here's our intro.
Dramatic pause. But the thing is, what came out, or at least Square Enix excuses, even though they're going to be putting Final Fantasy 16 on, guess what? But they won't put the Pixel remaster on the Xbox system because, I'm sure at least you know that if you develop a game and you put it on a platform, whether it be Sony's Xbox or PC, whether it be Steam or Epic, they take a cut for themselves. That's why when Borderlands 3 came out, it went to Epic first because they were offering a better deal than Steam at the time. I think Epic said, yeah, if you put it on us for first, it was going to be like, we'll take 5%, and Steam wanted 8%. So depending on all the sales, they would save all that extra money.
Yeah.
And somehow what Square Enix is saying, yeah, we approach all the distributors in regards to when we release games, and just Xbox wanted so much money. Nah, my conspiracy theory is, yeah, the bundle with all those Pixel remasters was coming out and being released during the whole controversy between Sony and Xbox over the Activision Blizzard deal, and you guys said, no matter what they offer, say it's too much. You're not putting that on there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That it's pretty much Sony pulling the string, saying you're going to, no matter what Microsoft says, whatever offer, it could be 5%. You tell them it's, and somebody asks you about it, say it's, no, that was too high. It was too high. No matter what they're offering, it's too high. And the thing is, that's when fans like me kind of miss out. Granted, yeah, I have a PS4, which I have to get a new controller for. Yeah, I'm yelling at the controller like that's going to fix the damn thing. But I have been playing at least a little bit, or up until the controller decided to go fuck itself. Why are you looking at me like I'm insane? How dare you look at me like I'm insane? But
just listen, you go on to a rant.
Hey, you can interject, but the system somehow it seemed like it wasn't drifting over to like the right or left. It was just one day it just went, fuck it, you're going over here now. I'm like, oh fuck, I was just getting into Final Fantasy VI. God damn it. By the way, I love the fact that you could find all the old Final Fantasy III for the NES strategy guides and the original Nintendo Power strategy guide for the first Final Fantasy online for free.
Oh yeah, you can get all that stuff online for free.
And I don't mean like going to game FAQ type of ordeal. I mean the actual strategy guide.
No, but there are complete scans and everything else. Trust me, I've been replaying Super Metroid, and the intensive like guide that Nintendo Power put out back in the day is very helpful. It's not step by step. You kind of got to figure out where you need to go and how you're going to get there. But
with the pixel remixes or reboot deal, it's not exactly the same game. It is, but it isn't. But those maps and everything does help in a way,
no,
in regards to.
It was a PlayStation 3 exclusive, and I'm not 100% sure, but there was like this game where you could design your own character. It was like pixel art.
Yeah.
And it was like an RPG. And I'm like, why hasn't that gotten a revival yet? Because, I mean, I think that would still work today, because you have that kind of quasi 8-bit, 16-bit pixel graphic, but you also have like a decent RPG aspect to it too.
I remember seeing something on YouTube in regards to the pixel remasters and some of the stuff that, because of the pixel remasters coming out and other stuff, like, again, you could buy the Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, and everything past that on all the stores. What happened to the forgotten games that were out there? And they went over that particular one, what happened to it, and no one seems to really know why they haven't released that or made it a reboot, or it's like, oh, we don't want to, those sales were too low, or nobody in the States would want to play that sort of thing again.
It was done by, because it was called 3D Game Heroes. Looks like it was an Atlas game. And they make a lot of oddball stuff to begin with, because aren't they the same people that do what's it called? Harvest Moon? Or no, that's Natsume. But Atlas does a lot of weird stuff. It looks like it was only PlayStation 3. But it's kind of like a Zelda clone, but you also have that 3D like graphic aspect to it.
I know I picked up something that was similar for mine. It reminded me of a Zelda game. It has a name. I don't know what it was, but it reminded me of a Zelda clone. That's what it was. It was the top down. Filter Xbox One. It was Anodyne. There it is.
Oh, I remember Anodyne.
Anodyne.
Okay.
It feels like a Link to the Past type of.
Uh-oh, internet connection is unstable.
Hold on.
We got it. Yeah, I guess it overheard us talking about Xbox and Microsoft, and the computer's like, fuck you, asshole. You have an update. You haven't done anything yet. Yeah, well, update, you can wait.
Welcome to my hell.
We were experiencing technical difficulties because Microsoft owns us all.
If you own me, Microsoft, I want some money to get some new shit from you.
I mean, I guess that was the internet's way of politely telling us, yeah, you're done with Xbox. Done. We've covered it. You're good. You start talking about PlayStation games. Fuck is wrong with you?
How dare you? I was talking about, it was like, hey, Anodyne was a good Link to the Past clone. At least from what I was playing with it.
Whenever we have a technical difficulty, we need to get that little clip from The Simpsons with the technical difficulty that shows the drunken cameraman. We're experiencing technical difficulties, drunken cameraman passing out.
Oh,
But
guess what I'm
anyway,
inserting when I sew everything in together. Guess what I'm
yes, we need that clip
when I sew everything together, I'm putting that clip in
with that song or whatever goes with it.
for
But
the audio side. Folks at home on the audio side, you're going to hear 2 hours later.
yeah. Anyway,
Anywho,
so what else did we get into this week? Oh yeah, we all got into the whole Transformers thing. We saw the new movie. I went to Allentown and actually got to see some screen use props from Transformers movies, particularly the Optimus Prime truck from last night and Megatron from Dark of the Moon. So that was kind of a plus. There was a bunch of car enthusiasts who had, different cars made up like Bumblebee, Ironhide, Ratchet, some of the other Nest operatives, which was kind of cool. And then a random R2D2 because why the fuck not? But like I was telling Chris before the start of the show, 2 hour line to get in. Who knew Michael Bay Transformers had that kind of draw and that kind of fandom?
now that you bring up that there's something that can. I'm sure you remember the show Red Green.
Okay.
For the folks at home, Red Green was this, I want to say, self-aware Canadian comedy type of ordeal.
We always talk down
where,
to our audience as if they don't get the in joke. Let us explain the in joke. So it seems to be funny.
Red Green was primarily, I seen it on like PBS. And it's where main character always like it was maybe like the Canadian version of Tool Time, kind of sort of, where it's around, instead of it being Tool Time, it was more like a Moose Lodge or something like that.
Yeah, more
the main
Canadian
character
humor.
was more Canadian humor, and the whole aspect was if his motto was like, if a woman can't find you handy, she should. If she can't find you handsome, she should at least find you handy. And like duct tape is a man's secret weapon, sort of thing. It was all tongue in cheek and
the maintenance guy at work believes that. He thinks duct tape and wire hangers is how you fix plumbing. So,
but one of the things that they were showing off one year, I don't remember if it was for like PBS's annual or biannual fundraiser, but the guy that plays Red, the old guy, went to a Red Green convention somewhere in the Midwest, and some motherfucker dressed up as a one of the I forgot his name. It wasn't Spawn himself, but it was a character from Spawn.
Okay.
It was like one of the demon characters from Spawn. It was not the clown, but what the clown was supposed to look like.
Yeah. Violator.
Violator. That's a like even Red was looking. It was like, who are you supposed to? I'm the Violator from Spawn. Like, you went as the Violator from Spawn to a Red Green convention. R2D2 and at a Transformers.
It's at least a robot.
It's at least a robot, and you know what? It's there. It's not like Red Green Canadian comedy.
What's his alt mode? A butt plug?
But it's or the whole aspect. Let's say if it was a Red Dwarf convention, R2D2 shows up. You could kind of see it. All right, maybe. At least the supposedly in one of the early episodes there was the TARDIS in one of the background scenes, hidden there. You could kind of see that. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you always get an away crew from Star Trek at a Renaissance fair. Ash Williams also shows up a lot at Ren fairs. So in some way it can work.
But on that note, I did see it when I went to a Ren fair one time. Did see somebody dressed up as Superman, but it wasn't like the leotard Superman outfit. It was all done in chainmail. and the cape, but it was pretty damn good. I credit him. I would give it the fact, especially if he managed to knit it himself. So, either way, back to Transformers.
So, anyways, Transformers. But yes, that was quite eye-opening to see that Bayformers has that kind of fandom. But maybe it's just me because, like, when I go to BotCon, it feels like a family because we're all there for Transformers. We're not there for Michael Bay per se. We're there because we like machines that turn into other things. Yeah.
Have that one guy, GoBots rock.
Actually, there's a lot of GoBots at BotCon, believe it or not. And since that's been incorporated in the Transformers lore, yes, Gobatron is now part of Transformers lore. Yeah, it makes things real interesting. To me, it shall always be Machine Robo. His name was not Cop Tour.
I'm thinking of all the robot chicken gags.
That was the point. That's the joke.
That's the joke.
But it was very eye-opening to see that, you know, that there's a ton of love out there even for the shittiest aspects of some fandoms. I mean, my kid grew up with the Transformers movies. I mean, I don't think there's a Transformers fan who hasn't seen some of the Transformers movies.
I'm sure you subjugated the little one to the original movie at some point.
Yes. You know, them and I, we quote it quite regularly. You know, at the most inappropriate times. So, because there's lines in there.
There's occasionally that I, as a habit, if you saw my
First I have almost the shell, then we crack the nuts inside.
It comes from that, in essence, that scene. In a way, it's I at times I'll have a hand tick. You know how it's not Tourette's or anything like that, but it's a hand tick. It's that my hand will do the same or a similar typing pattern to I forgot. I'm gonna the Autobots version of Soundwave. In that scene, he does Blaster. that Blaster. He has that dit 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 and does that. I almost have. I've watched that movie so many times. That's almost my hand take. I was like, I'll do that as a hand take. It's like from watching that so many damn times.
God damn Blaster.
Damn Blaster.
Oh, like rockin'
shout. I still function.
Wanna bet?
The best line was that the best line in the original movie is, what did he say his name was? Galvatron. All hail Galvatron. And the thing is, he got away with it too.
I had friends that like cut in those weird commercials that Orson Welles was in for that one restaurant. I don't know if you've ever seen the Orson Welles like commercials that he did before he died. And they'll cut
that he was like drunk out most of the time because he actually drank the alcohol he was supposed to.
Yeah, but like some of the one takes, they'll just insert that over Unicron, and I just lose it because it's hilarious. Hell, that wasn't even his last movie either. He did like this really big of a train wreck with just voiceover, and it recently got put out on DVD or Blu-ray. It's terrible. It's like Asylum level before Asylum was a thing. Sean Connery even has a movie like that, and that's just like, oh.
The thing is, I think they want to redo that. They want to redo the original movie. Like, how it has its own level of perfection because even though there was problems with it, I'm sure, but you have to figure everything in that movie was hand drawn from the background everything was meticulously hand
Everybody
drawn.
hated that movie when it first came out because how dare they kill Optimus Prime?
Right,
And now we've watched Optimus Prime die how many times?
right, and
Always comes back. He's like Robo Jesus.
and the commentary for the original movie, they're like watching it now and like, I can't believe how meticulously everything was, how detailed everything was hand drawn.
Yeah, like
And
Sunbow went all out. Not to say there wasn't animation errors, because there was animation.
I'm sure there's animation errors, but still, uh,
hell, that
back
movie
to,
was the reason why G.I. Joe the movie went straight to TV instead of the theaters, and they changed the ending because they were originally going to kill Duke, and instead of Duke being dead, he's in a coma, and then at the end,
yeah,
he's
you could tell
recovered.
it's like everything in the GI Joe movie when you watch it. I think I watched it like 2 months ago. It was like everything leads up. It's like to him dying, but at the end it's like that little bit of he's going to be okay.
Yeah, you could
Like,
tell they were like, "Ooh, we can't kill Duke. That would be a bad idea." And
and
I will say something about the G.I. Joe movie most people won't even mention, but the cosmic horror in that movie for the origins of Cobra was actually kind of cool because you kind of have like an H.P. Lovecraft like creature society governing all of this terroristic organization, and it's like awesome, you know.
it
And
wasn't even that. It's like the reason of it is they pretty much kicked out Cobra Commander because he was on the level of incompetent with them. Like, we're kicking your ass out, and his aspect was, I'll show you,
yeah,
and therefore the whole ordeal of him still being incompetent.
I don't know. He did show up in that one Transformers episode as Old Snake, if you recall.
So
Where they
yeah,
stole the Autobots' bodies. They stole Hot Rod. Well, not Hot Rod.
I think he was like a terrorist at some point,
Mm-hmm.
and all that in the later shows where they tried to steal. They turned all the Autobots into humans, but
You
in the
know,
later,
there was definitely a hint that Hasbro was trying to create a universe, and
right,
that, to me, is the biggest thing because that GI Joe hint. If you kind of look at it from certain angles, it kind of puts Inhumanoids in with it, and a lot of people like to go, "Why are you fingering your camera?"
message. I'm doing this on my phone, and somebody keeps messaging me. Um, so because I can't turn down or turn off the messages on the notifications on that. I'm going to tell them it's like, and
I'm recording. Go the fuck away.
yeah, I'm recording.
But no, it just kind of hints that they wanted to do Inhumanoids. I always love when people like, yeah, but the human characters in Inhumanoids are not the same size as G.I. Joe. And I'm like, aha, that's where you're wrong. Because when you take the helmets off the Inhumanoid like hero characters, their heads are the same size as G.I. Joe's because that's supposed to be an exosuit for them. And so it's all part of the same universe. But for some reason, everybody wants to smash Visionaries in on top of it. And I'm like, that got what? A little tiny kids movie, like TV hour, one time little pilot episode, and that was it. We didn't even get a full series for Visionaries.
But I kind of, with this movie,
You okay?
yeah, I was like, I was hoping that it wasn't going to be like one of those aspects, like, you're going to still keep messaging while I just quickly message you that I'm recording, but he just left a thumbs up on the message. But I did enjoy this. There were I did have some. I'm not when I was watching. I was like, okay, when was this taking place? I was
90s.
like, when
They said that right at the beginning, 94.
no, just that was my first impression when it was like, when is this taking place? It wasn't until maybe 5-10 minutes after because I saw it. I was like, I saw a Game Boy. I was like, when is this taking place? Why are they using a Game Boy? Then all of a sudden, there's the clip of them talking about the OJ trial. I'm like, oh yeah, mid-90s. So that makes sense.
94.
94.
Yep.
And
because Bumblebee took place in 84, 85 or something like that. And then this is a direct sequel to Bumblebee. And the Bayverse is no longer canon.
The main universe is no longer canon?
Bayverse is no longer canon.
That explains a lot of... Because one of the things
because Bayverse was going to make Unicron Earth.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to do. It's like, why are they doing it like this? Because in the last of the, Bay movies, because I wasn't really sure. It's like the last one was like Unicron was supposed to be Earth, and didn't in the first Transformers live action movie, Optimus Prime came to Earth.
Yeah.
And what is so many continuities with that. But
the first time they did Unicron as Earth showed up in Transformers Prime, that computer animated show that I want to say came out after the first trilogy of Bay movies. That would have been on I'm gonna say Cartoon Network, and it actually had the Earth as Unicron, which was interesting, and it was a new way to take it because it was a whole retcon in its own continuity.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of folks. I was talking after the movie. I was talking to somebody because I went to work right after it, and it's like, "Oh, did you see a movie?" Yeah, I went to see Transformers. Like, really? And it's like, yeah. I saw a lot of influences of the original movie and the original storyline in it, and I said, "How would you like? Do you know the full, in essence, storyline of the Transformers?" Because we saw Beastmasters here in the States. We saw the
Beast
bulk
Wars.
Beast Wars.
Beastmaster is a whole other thing.
Right.
And we're on OnlyFans, so I have to explain. We mean the fantasy movie, not any other thing that you found in the adult section.
The original Transformer
or the Dark Web.
Run, or the Dark Web. The original Transformer cartoon, which ended at the Headmasters, but did continue in Japan. But the thing is,
yeah, but they also had the Kiss Players in Japan, and if you want to have a disturbing day, read about Kiss Players, and that'll be like.
But again, this was all something I learned through YouTube in regards to history.
Powered by high school girl kisses. Need I say more?
But all in all, the main history, to kind of sum up in regards to Transformers, it starts out with what we know in the main 80s cartoon. And everything kind of leads up, and you have the Beast Wars, you have that whole aspect. And from what the history was told, the Transformers kept getting smaller, smaller, and smaller, and traveling through time. And thus, they make the whole history of what we see as main canon in the original cartoon. That's why
Optimus Primal says, "I am of your future and of your past."
In the movie, even that was in the I don't know about the CGI cartoon, but it's the whole aspect of
it wasn't. It wasn't.
That, not to mention the guy I was talking about
timeline, essentially.
But in the cartoon, when I was explaining this, the guy was like, that explains the whole aspect of the different aspects of how the Autobots might have thought. They didn't see it, but it explains the phrase "till all are one," because everything came around full circle in regards to history and time, and everybody going back to time to restart
Ouroboros.
Everything back to make sure.
Smeg, I'm my own dad.
In essence, the Transformers of the far future went back, in essence, back around to, in essence, become the spark, everything to create the Transformers we all know. So, in essence, we are one. It's not what the Autobots might think, hey, we're going to have peace between, the Autobots and the Decepticons again. But in reality, it was everything coming back around. We all won instead
Well,
of
it
it
was a
just being
whole huge cycle because the Autobots and Decepticons did eventually have peace, which led to the changes in basically Cybertron. Cybertron became techno-organic. And Megatron from Beast Wars took up the mantle of Megatron, creating what was known as the Predacons, because he had studied Megatron's teachings. And of course, Ravage was still around and somewhat sentient at that point. And as a result, he kind of became a renegade from this techno-organic Cybertron. And hence it started the whole Beast Wars because, Optimus Primal had to go after him, and they wound up in Earth's past, spoilers,
but
and wound up accidentally killing Prime and then fixing him, but yet somehow taking a spark into Optimus Primal, and yeah.
And the thing is, like, when I heard Nubian, I was like, what the hell? When they said Nubian in the movie, I was like, what the hell is Nubian? Couldn't hurt. Like the whole Mallrats aspect.
But all I gotta say is they did my boy Jazz dirty. Because Jazz is a Porsche 911. Sorry. Mirage is an F1 racer. I did like the fact that he did briefly turn into an F1 racer. Just a reference that should be the appropriate alt form.
And why did Surge look like a
who?
Wish for Surge?
Don't you mean Wheeljack with the glasses?
No. I mean Surge. Surge was the main bad guy besides Unicron. He was a servant, the one that wanted to bring Unicron to
Surge.
Earth.
I thought you said Surge. Yeah, you said Surge. I'm like,
Surge.
The energy drink from the 90s was in there? That'd be kind of cool.
Scourge. Why did he look like a worse version of Saruman or whatever the main?
I think he was supposed to kind of look like the Maximal symbol or the Terracon symbol a little bit, because they refer to themselves as Terracon, which unfortunately Terracon has nothing to do with the Unicron. Terracon was a group of combiners that showed up in the whole Scramble City animation, which was kind of like these weird like tiny beast robots that merged into like one giant like Decepticon, because that was the whole concept of Scramble City. You could mix and match different robots to make one big giant robot with different parts. Kind of like what you could do with Devastator. Now, Scramble City took place between the G1 cartoon and the movie. But that was a Japanese exclusive thing.
And folks watching that are Lord of the Rings fans, I apologize for getting probably the wrong bad guy from Lord of the Rings. It's pretty much the person that created the One Ring, but still.
Those Hobbit movies are so fucking boring.
Even the trees walked.
The first movie. The second movie.
I did like the fact that it was kind of hard to. I've seen posts online in regards to the suit that I'll call him Sonic because that's what his radio name was. I keep forgetting what his real name was. The main human character. That
I was trying to look up to see if he was canonically a Joe, and I didn't find anything that fell into reference with that.
But the whole aspect is like when he got the suit, in essence, from Mirage.
Mm-hmm.
I went two ways with that. It's like, were they referencing Headmasters or were they referencing the suit from the OG movie, the cartoon?
Or because you forget, Hasbro also owns Kenner, and what also had special suits and helmets with vehicles that transformed.
Mask?
Yeah, I thought maybe it was hinting toward that, because Hasbro has been forever trying to make a Hasbro cinematic universe. Yes, I hear all the cringing out there, but they want to do that. They also want to incorporate Micronauts, which they own now, as well as ROM Space Knight, which has been very painful for Marvel, because without Micronauts, this is why Quantum Mania sucked, because a lot of the storyline from Quantum Mania had to be heavily adapted from when Marvel owned the rights to make Micronaut Comics, and a lot of people don't know that. And Rom
Uh,
Space Knight had heavy ties to Marvel. Like,
the
there's a
thing
lot of
is,
characters that
with
they had
Mask,
retained.
it was just the helmets. But with this, a lot of folks, at least on Twitter, that were talking about the movie, is that they were comparing it to the OG cartoon suit, where it was just the kind of like the having a piece here, like a metallic piece here, and a metallic piece, and a dome over
Yeah.
the head. Whereas the kind of the headmasters was kind of like fully encased suit
Yeah,
and
you turn
helmet,
into a head and can help
and then you
the
turn to head.
robot. Yeah.
So that's why I got mixed vibes off of that, because at one point he had his whole body covered. And it's like, you're going to have to take the wheel. I'm like, did they make a headmaster reference? But at times it was acting like the suit in regards to the cartoon movie,
There
in regards
was
to having the jump pack, the gun. The only thing it didn't do is form into a little car itself.
there was deleted scenes from the last night. Yes, I hate Bay movies, but the last night Cog, the little tiny Autobot, he actually could become a head and take over other robots' bodies. And there was supposed to be some sort of interaction with that in the movies in more than one situation, and it just hit the cutting room floor. But you could still tell it happened because the action figure for Cog could be converted into a head, and you could use it to pop off other Decepticons' heads so you could take control of it. And so it was a feature that only the people who collected the toys and weirdos like me would know.
I see. One of the things I noticed is that they continued a trope of, oh, we've never seen it happen before ever. Here's Mirage transforming for the first time. It's like, oh my god, we never seen this before, ever before. It's like, oh shit,
But at least this way, it was still robots in disguise, which I
right?
think the Bay movies kind of really were like stepped away from heavily. Because even Optimus and them were trying to keep low key up until they got to Peru or wherever the hell that was. And again, I love the movie for what it was. I thought it was great. It was a great companion piece to Bumblebee, as it should be.
And I
We're
like the fact
focused
that they
on one Transformer, which is the way it should be. You know, I hope if there's a third one in this series, they pick a character, they stick with that character the whole way through the movie. That's our arc. Instead of throwing every last character they can at us.
and I like the fact that they, as you said, if they do a crossover and not a cinematic universe, and it's just okay, kind of bring a little bit of GI Joe into it
They did it right.
and do it right. Right now, it's a hint, and it's like, hey, we're in a way, we're here if you need us, or if you want to still contact it. Here's our card.
Right.
But for right now, you don't have to worry about finding treatments for your little brother.
We got you
We are
covered.
here. We got you covered.
You
So
saved the world. Thanks.
save the world. Thanks. And if you ever want reconsider, we're here.
Yeah.
And we that way, if for they could ease everybody into Transformers and GI Joe.
It kind of goes back to our conversation a little bit like we had the other last week in regards to cinematic universes. Like, just make good movies. Make a good movie. You can hint and wink that there might be a bigger story, but don't worry about that. Don't try to connect the big stories to all the little stories. Let some writer who's got the time to do that make
Right.
a good movie, have fun. That's why I like with my gag with Hector Ramirez, because that's something that did pop up in the cartoon. It popped up in 4 cartoons. You had Hector Ramirez as a reporter in G.I. Joe. You had Hector Ramirez pop up as a reporter in Jim, again as a reporter in Inhumanoids, and also in Transformers. And what cracks me up is like, if you want to really hit a cinematic universe, get some big name actor to play Hector Ramirez. I can think of several off the top of my head that are some big name, Latino actors, and have them play that role and be like a news reporter in the background reporting on things that are happening not that movie per se, but from the last movie, he's talking about the issues with, like, for example, the stuff that happened with Transformers in the foreign country, or you make another movie and he reports on something different from the last movie. And so that's connected, but if you're not paying attention, you don't know it's connected. Or as I was joking with my buddy Ken K the other day, just have like this random big name actor show up on screen in the background scratching his ass and just do it in every movie, but don't mention that it's connected and it's just this weird famous guy scratching his ass because it's all part of the same universe.
What I was thinking, because I didn't realize that in essence, rebooted things. I was like, what? Because of when this all takes place, and when did it took place? The first live action took place what, in
2007.
2007. What if? Because my thought in regards to headcanon was like, what if this character, the main character, was that crazy guy. I won't say guy,
From
but
Sector 7.
Sector 7. What if he was that? Just later on, he became that Sector 7 person, and that's
See,
why
when that scene first opened up, I was kind of thinking it was leaning towards Sector 7. I was like, oh, they already hinted at that at Bumblebee. Let's just drop Sector 7. It's not working. But I was glad when they kind of dropped the G.I. Joe logo. Well, the more modern G.I. Joe logo, which is the dog tag with the little eagle and star in it. And I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more easier for me to swallow. But again, like, to me, it's too much. It's like, make a Transformers movie, make a G.I. Joe movie, make it fun. Don't try to worry about connecting it until you get there. And then that's going to be part of the fun, connecting it all together and how it all works. I mean, like the early comic books, when they introduced like concepts of like G.I. Joe with Transformers, they didn't do that until Transformers Generation 2, when all of the Transformers were getting retrofitted and refitted, and it just so happened that Megatron sought out Destro and Cobra Commander, like, hey, I kind of got alerted to the fact that you guys have this wicked railgun. I want it, and I need a body upgrade. Otherwise, I'm just going to kill all of y'all. And they're like, let's make a deal. We get some of your tech in exchange for giving you our tech. And I'm like,
I think that's what came out in the comic series, or something like that.
And I'm like, that is such a better storyline, because you could see in international terrorist organizations, like, they want our weapon of mass destructive. Yeah, but this thing's living technology and we get to poke around with it. Imagine what all we could figure out. And to me, that's a great way to bridge it, because you could have completely different technologies in each film, but it would still work because it's kind of like shared technology at that point.
And it kind of work if you do it like we probably talked last week and all that. If it's done right, you let the fans theorize. You let the YouTubers theorize, like the Matt Pats and all that. You and us and everybody else
just
theorize
wink and nod, but you don't. You know what I mean?
Right. We could have went this way. We could have went this way.
Universal. Do you really ever think that they sit down and thought, yeah, we're going to put Frankenstein and the Wolfman in a movie? Fuck. They put Frankenstein and Wolfman in so many movies, they didn't even care about canon. They just had fun. Right. They made a fun movie. Hell, they even made one with Abbott and Costello in it. Okay? That tells you that they were...
I'm saying it's like, they have fun with it. We can and nod to the fans like, oh, we could have done this, but now that's stupid.
But the point is at the end of the day, yes, crossovers are interesting. Shared universes are mad money. But a lot of that stuff didn't come to pass until two people were like, hey, you have a pretty cool sandbox. I have a pretty cool sandbox. Let's push them together and see what we get. And it wasn't intentional. It was just two creators having fun, and playing in each other's sandboxes. And that's what it should be. It shouldn't be, how can we make multi-million-dollar off this concept? No, have fucking fun with it. Who cares if it doesn't work? Sort it out in the details.
or in the novelization, something like that.
Or just have fun.
Then it becomes like a Halo or a Destiny in regards to gameplay, where it's just, well, we're going to put 98% of the lore in the books, and all of you all that not reading the books, it's screw you.
Yeah, because as terrible as it sounds, and maybe it's just my old kid mind working, I would always love to have seen like the characters from Mask have to accidentally go up against Cobra plus a few Decepticons, and it's kind of like a three-way battle. And Venom's just sitting down on the sideline, like, let's let them fight and see who wins, and we'll take what we want.
Whoever wins, we win.
Yeah,
We'll just pick on the. We'll sit back, watch everybody fight, and we'll just take
join the
notes.
winning side.
Whoever's winning, yeah, we'll join the winning side, and we'll pick up the pieces afterwards.
Yeah,
we'll be the level 1 folks following the level 50 through the dungeon or whatever, just picking up. Oh, take this. I'll take this. I'll take this. I'll take this.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's just a fun way of having it. You know, it's kind of like what is it? John Favreau and what's the other guy? All time wears the cowboy hat. I can't think of his name, but it's the guys who do Mandalorian. Like,
yeah,
they do Star Wars right. And to me, just watching that show just feels like I'm playing with Star Wars action figures, or I'm watching some kid play with Star Wars action figures and just have a fucking blast. You know, it's like, let's throw in Rebels. Oh yeah, let's throw in this really badass scene with Luke Skywalker. Fucking A, you know, have fun with it.
Speaking of that, real quick, have you heard the diehard rumor?
Is it a diehard rumor?
It's a diehard rumor concerning Star Wars.
Oh, okay. I thought you were is a diehard rumor concerning the diehard franchise.
I'm just saying it's a really diehard rumor.
Okay, so what's the rumor?
Because Disney is losing so much damn money, they are considering it selling Lucasfilm and the Star Wars property back to George Lucas.
I keep hearing various stuff on that, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think George is done. Because like right now they've got what Indiana Jones get ready to drop. They've got a bunch of other Lucas properties that they've been playing with, like the Willow series. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I mean, I get where Disney's coming from with making most of this like Disney Plus exclusives, which is fine. Because they're still like, hey, we're still making bank. You know, we're finding it's easier to bill people a steady $5 a month for Disney Plus versus $20 a movie ticket. It's just more financially viable for us. And there's all kinds of rumors like that, but I don't foresee it happening. I think it's bullshit. And
right now, I'm almost in the same boat or similar boat. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, and not only that, but like the reason why George sold Star Wars was basically he wanted to pass it on because he knew he's getting up there in age, you know? I mean, we've already lost a lot of our major creators. George Lucas is going to die before you know it. So is Steven Spielberg. So there's all these other creators, you know, and at least with him passing the torch on to Disney, at least it's going to somewhere that's going to at least try to carry on and champion that.
I want to say this. He didn't just pass along. I think he was forced to pass on, whether it was Kathleen Kennedy or someone else next to him that was one of his many yes men, because they were probably he didn't want to. I think even he said that he wanted he was getting up there in years, even though the fans wanted him to do the final trilogy in regards to Star Wars. He was feeling, oh, by the time I get around to it, I'll be too old, or this, that, and the other thing, or dead. And not to mention, depending on who you want to talk to, he was being egotistical because you had folks that were really good in making trilogies, like Peter Jackson, saying, "Hey, you don't want to do it? No, let me do it. I did the Hobbit. Like it or hate the Hobbit, he did it pretty. I would say he knew how to handle a series. Give it to me. Let me handle it. I did 6 movies. You know, let me handle it. No, other folks came up to him like, we've done it. We've done trilogies. We know we could have respect for your property. Give us the reins. No. Oh, by the way, hi Disney. Thanks for all the money. You can do it. And now
Well,
we
we
have a
also have to
whole.
understand that his health has been on the decline since the prequels. I mean, all of the vocalizations for General Grievous's, like the coughing and the hacking, that's him. That's his actual coughing and hacking.
And the thing is, do you know why we got the re-edit of 4, 5, and 6?
Hmm. Why?
Alimony.
Hmm. Just the whole
Pretty much. No,
McClunky was just
at the time,
horrible.
of when the original trilogy 4, 5, and 6 was made, he was married to the producer, and she's the one that did a lot of the editing and choices in regards to what went into the story and all that. And sometime after, in that process of making 4, 5, and 6, they got a divorce, and with that divorce, he had to pay child support, alimony, plus because she was producer and all that fun jazz, and I think co-writer and all that, he had to pay her a lot of the royalties and all that. And because in Hollywood, in regards to under a lot of these guilds and unions, if you change it, you don't have to pay a lot of the original folks. And because he was paying alimony and child support, he didn't want to shell out the extra funds to her anymore. So therefore, we got the edited versions of their original trilogy, and that's why we'll never get them again because
contraire, my friend. They are available. The theatrical original runs of all the Star Wars trilogy is available because some people have found prints of them. They're just not legally available. They're
that's what I'm saying,
legally
legally available.
like the despecialized editions right now are actually running on theatrical prints from the original runs. And we're talking all 3 movies: Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. I will not ever give them episode numbers because in my book it's always just Star Wars, not Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. No, Star Wars.
So it was pretty much, that's why you won't get an official drop of the original trilogy. It's
we
pretty
did
much
technically on DVD, but it was actually a Laserdisc reissue on DVD. I've got a couple bootlegs of that. It's not the greatest print in the world, but it's better than nothing, or at least until I can figure out how to copy these Blu-ray files. So I can make my own despecialized editions. Yeah, I can go online and buy a bootleg, but to me, that's not the fun of bootlegging unless you're desperate.
I don't. Part of me wants to. I might not have this week. Might not as much as I want to watch it. I may or may not have the funds to catch the Flash movie, but I'll see. If not, I'll ask Uncle.
That is a whole can of worms. I refuse. If somebody bought the tickets to go watch me, to have me go watch it with them, by all means, I'll go. If somebody has a copy of it they want to let me borrow, I'll watch it. But I will not pay my own money to go see it.
Good. Then I'm going to be saving money this week.
Because Ezra Miller, they're a piece of crap. I'm sorry. They've done enough crimes and enough problems in the world where I can't rightly go to a movie, no matter how much they want to plug the nostalgia factor that Michael Keaton's Batman is in it. They can do that all they want. That's not going to erase the problems with Ezra Miller. Like, come on, like kidnapping, grooming, abusing women. I don't care how you identify. None of that is cool. And that's
So
from a trans woman.
good. I'm gonna save my money there. Not gonna have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not
So
watching it. I think if I go to see anything this weekend, it'll be to go watch the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So, because that seems like it's decent. So,
I might catch that after the fact, but still.
well, it is after the fact. It already came out. What? Not this weekend,
I
but
know,
last
but
weekend.
after the fact,
Yeah.
when it comes out on streaming somewhere.
I haven't even caught Guardians yet. I know, blasphemy. James,
Neither have I. Neither have I.
I
I'm waiting on it to come to Disney Plus.
yeah, I gotta pay that bill. Ugh. And
I
HBO
pick up the
Max.
yearly.
Oh yeah. I'll pay it when I pay it. I know Avatar 2 is on it, but it's like, do I really want to be bored for 3 hours? Watch Dances with Wolves with blue people?
No, it's not just that. It's the Avatar or James Cameron's version of Moana, Way of the Water.
The Way of the Water. Oh God. It's Avatar. The last blue airbender. Oh, and to think they had to change the name of that one movie. So what was it just called? It was just called The Last Airbender instead of just Avatar The Last
Yeah.
Airbender. I'm like, there's already a dumpster fire because they had Mr. What a Twist direct it.
What a twist.
I'm sitting there like, where's the twist in this? I already
That
knew the plot. I changed it. What a
like
twist.
the whole. What a twist. I saw like one of these meme thread type of ordeals of what if you had Team Avatar? They didn't. What happened was Aang was not discovered, or they didn't discover it, and it was just what's her name faking her way through as the Avatar, and because like she can, if like water can be in the ground, so that's how she was faking earth bending, and you know
Water's in
because
the
air,
air.
water
Water
could be in the
exists
air.
in 4 different properties.
Right. And that's how she was faking a lot of like being an airbender, and just by manipulating the water and the ground and wood and everything like that. And she still went to um, teamed up with Toph, and everybody's kind of in on it and trying to convince everybody in this long con. And they even had everything kind of falls out the same way in a way, including what's his name trying to help her fake firebending in order to complete the whole aspect using water bending.
Well, I mean,
But
it's kind of like that whole joke about like the X-Men power sets. Like when you sit down and think about how they would physically being able to do that and then what they're actually controlling to do it. Like Magneto, he'd also be able to control electricity. He could be an omega level threat right off the bat. Iceman, all he's doing is inertly either absorbing heat or pushing it out. So he could control both heat and ice. And so they would
I
actually
think
have dual power sets.
it has came out as Magneto is an Omega level mutant because he is able to control magnets. It came out in one. I forgot what X-Men thing was that he was in essence can make the sun go supernova.
Yeah.
Just that for him to do it, he says, if I pushed myself that hard, I'd get a migraine. Pretty much he has that like a built-in limiter that if he did that, he'd pretty much have an aneurysm. He'd in essence kill himself prior to the sun killing everybody on Earth.
It's kind of like with Iceman because
Iceman is the same way because he could literally freeze the entire planet.
Right, but see, when you freeze something, you're removing the energy from it, and when you heat something up, you're giving it energy. So in reality, he would have to have a way to expel that energy. So it would be kind of like a dual problem. You know what I mean? Not only could
I
he
know in
freeze something, but he could burn something to cinders.
the book version of the sequel. Yes, I read the book version of the X2.
Was it the junior novelization?
I don't know if it's a junior novelization, but it goes into the aspect of when he approaches, somebody lights the building on fire, and he was pretty much there. He was wearing himself out because he was drawing in the moisture to use the, he wasn't turning everything into ice, but he was using bringing in the moisture to help put out the fire. And he was on it. The scene that was probably cut was Storm watching him do that on the news, or seeing the news of somebody lighting the building on fire, and him seeing him using his powers to try to put it out. And in the book, it says that she was like, hey, he's doing what he's trained to do, to be that hero. And he's looking tired. I got to, help him. And through what she does, bringing it in like a storm, her namesake, to bring in rain, so he's able to use that moisture to kind of condense it down to help him put out that fire. And so he's
we go
able
over
to
the map, folks. So, we go from X-Men to Transformers to
everything. So do I know how to clip this? Science! So how am I going to clip this? I have no idea.
We'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
20 million titles. Do we podcast? No, we just have a conversation and watch it evolve.
It's going to
evolution.
So much for being an hour and a half tops, Sasha.
Yeah. Well, we had technical difficulties.
Technically difficult.
I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. We covered
I think so.
Ramirez, Transformers, and I remember what else we wanted to talk about.
What else did we want to talk about? That was about it. I just remember, I gotta see Transformers. I gotta see Transformers.
Well, for me, it was like, oh, there's this thing in Allentown, and take the kid, take the man, call it a day. It just seemed like a fun time, and we did, and it was fun.
Let's see. Musical. No. Oh, John Cleese.
Oh yeah, John Cleese. I'll tell you what, we can save that for next time. I just got to figure out when next time is going to be, because next Tuesday I'm going to be on the Scene Snobs when we would normally podcast. So unless I can,
about I can be home. I'll be home by 7 on Monday.
Yeah, but the cast is at 7 with the Scene Snobs.
You said that's Tuesday. I'm saying Tuesday. Monday.
Oh, okay.
I'm home. I'll be home by 7 on Monday.
Okay, we can try to do that. Yeah, we'll cast the day early. No big deal.
Yeah.
So that'll work. But yes, spoiler, I'll be on the Scene Snobs. I guess Mick wants to talk about horror movies, and who better to get than me? Sure. In the meantime, did you want to talk about your sponsor? Because we kind of brought it up in the beginning, and
yes, we are. At least I am partnered with Dubby Energy. It's Dubby.
I wanted to say Spuddy, and I don't know why.
I don't know. You're coming down to the same habit I am. Dubby Energy. When you go to Dubby, that's DUBBY.GG.
How about them dubs, yo?
It's about those dubs. When you go there, and when you buy, as a matter of fact, I just got an email from them. So let me pull that up. And when you buy, and right now they are offering up they will be releasing.
None of our stuff is scripted, by the way.
Right. They'll have a starter. They have a starter pack with shaker. It comes with, I guess, 4
like
packs
of.
Yeah, it's a little, maybe something about the size. I gotta bring up maybe the size of this.
My OnlyFans just went nuts, and all I did was this.
Something maybe the size of a water bottle that you put the
size of a water bottle.
The powder size of a water bottle put the powder in, you put some water or your beverage of choice, you shake it up, and you're
All
able
about
to
the
drink
size
with
of a
it.
water bottle. We like that.
Right.
Kid.
Remember, it's not the size; it's how you move it.
It's the girth.
It's girth. But when you buy, if you find what you want to try on w.gg, you at checkout, enter the code LCM Podcast, you'll get 10% off. And I'm sure eventually we'll get a portion of sales from that. How much that is, I don't know. But it helps. $5 is $5. But a portion of that will go to us. But if what you, as I've been telling folks, if what you find on that site, if you want to buy from that site, you're more than welcome to. Again, our code is LCM Podcast for 10% off. But if that's too much for you and you just want to shoot a couple of bucks, in essence, our way, I'm going to include Sasha with that. You can support her on
for me.
OnlyFans on her way. Sign up for OnlyFans. On our side, you could always go to our GoFundMe and shoot us a couple of bucks that way, or to our, at least my Patreon, the show's Patreon. I gotta find the link. $3. It's only a couple of bucks. We'll have some community stuff there. What I'm going to be fully doing that, you'll get some thanks. We'll say this: you'll get some thanks shouted up.
I said you'll get some stank. I'm like,
stank. I want a few skanks. It's been a while.
I thought you said stank, not skank. It's like, whoa.
I have a theory. Have you seen the Wraith? The Wraith?
You mean like the movie with what's his name in it? That's got tiger blood.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The Wraith. It's the car.
Yeah.
I have a theory about that. It's a weird theory, but
we'll save that
maybe next time. We're going to say next time.
Along with John Cleese.
Along with John Cleese. Maybe I think they could relate, but who knows? I have that, so there's a lot of options. But still, if both me and Sasha understand, even though we're promoting OnlyFans, W Energy, and Patreon, and all that, we know things are tough. Sharing, watching, subscribing, all that helps. All that helps us in the long run. So as much as we like financial support, if you can't, sharing, liking, subscribing, and all that helps us as well. And we are grateful for that. So, and for those of you who are saying that we're asking for a handout, you know nothing about
not a handout.
I had folks in regards to when I pushed besides the scammers, oh, you're just asking for a handout. Yeah, tell me you never
come in with the blind glasses and like the little like cup with the dollar pencils on it next time. Just watch.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of those folks that say it's like, tell me you know nothing about the YouTubing and podcasting community without telling me you know nothing. And it's like, and yet these are also the same folks that if Kim Kardashian had a new product or wanted to crowdfund, it's like, hey, how would you like to help me fund this new project I'm doing? Okay, here's $10. And yet someone like us, sorry, you're just asking for a handout.
We're Z level. We're fine with it.
Yeah, but it literally helps us. I am willing to, like I did on Instagram with our first donation that we got through crowdfunding, I will put up receipts, and if I am able to get that new or newest laptop sooner with anything I get financially, you know what? It's going to be, hey, on that next episode we record, it's, hey, look what I got. We've got a new thing, and that's it. You know,
all I'll say is my OnlyFans, I'll just thank discreetly. You're appreciated. But some of you guys who DM me just out of the blue to be disgusting, yeah, you might get some shout outs.
Start charging for it. That's what some others do.
That's what I do. I'm like, bitch, pay me. Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, pay me. That's what some of the other folks on
I
OnlyFans
actually
do.
have a logo that says that. It's got like a little heart, and it says in bold, "Fuck you, pay me," in bold red.
But I'm just trying to expand a little bit so I'm able to help fun things. And folks, anything after getting some of the new or newest equipment goes to, if I am able to get, I'll do it in air quotes and all that, kidnapped by Sasha and her partner in crime, so to speak, to be taken by Vince or other friends of the show. They know who they are, to go to an event that might be nearby. It helps, those funds will go to help
Make
pay
it
for
happen.
gas, help make it happen, help get food and extra food and make things extra special for that event. So it goes
Yeah,
to
because
that.
let
I
me put it
know.
this way: I can tell you now, Blobfest ain't cheap. I've already put some money into that, and oh my.
I coming from, I won't say coming from, but when I did all 3 days from of Otakon 2 years ago, I say back in 2021, that was $1,200 just for the room. $1,200 just for from I think Thursday. That was like went Thursday to Monday, $1,200, and they wanted to charge me another $50 a night on top of that as a quote unquote deposit. I'm like, you never said anything in regards to that on when I booked the room through the Otacon's website. You had in all the emails. I showed them the emails. Like none of these emails said there was a $50 so-called deposit
Yep.
that I had to give you per night. But it's just in case you, all that came from if I had four or more people in that room. It's just me in this room. Oh,
Well,
that stuff is primarily used for parking. I took the train here.
for me, it was just basically like, okay, I need to get the dress for the evening because we need to have the
Yeah,
nice dress. Just on the off chance I get my crown, better fucking get my crown. Um, I got to get the dress. Then of course lodging because I didn't want to stay out of town because I've done that a couple years in the past. If you stay out of town, it is a pain. Was that a train?
yeah. You have to, Sasha. You forget that I am literally maybe less than a third of a mile away from
Okay, well
the
I'm
train
saying like, is
station.
it on my side or is it your
It's
side?
on my side. It's my
Okay,
side.
but
Somehow, even though I have trees between them and the tracks, they still want to be uber loud.
so you got the dress, you got lodging, and I usually just get 2 nights because you get there Friday, stay Friday night,
Yeah,
Saturday night. Um, Then you have on top of that like the tickets for each one. Now they're not expensive. It's not like super expensive, but you're talking about 3 days worth of events.
right.
I have yet to get my MST 3K tickets yet because it's kind of like if I do win Miss Blobfest, I don't have to get that one. Um, but it's all added up, and then of course Al's still got to get his tux because that's part of our secret costume for the costume contest this year. You already know about the costume.
Right.
We got it covered. We've already got the prop built, and the other props as well, from a fire axe to a shotgun, and that's all I'm saying. But we're covered on that aspect. And then obviously food and whatnot. Stuff like that adds up. But like going back to the tux, oh God, this was hilarious. And you can tell I'm a natural blonde. So before we went up to Allentown, we're like, well, we got enough time where we can stop off at like J&B Bridal to, have him fitted and sized for a tux so we can just pick it up on the 13th or the 14th before Blobfest. I'm a complete idiot because it's June. What's everybody doing in June?
Graduation.
Oh, no, 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 no. What else requires tuxes?
Besides weddings.
Oh, weddings. Yes. Weddings usually are heavy in June. I completely forgot about that. So we went in thinking we'd just do a walk-in appointment. Oh, fuck no. We got to wait until this Saturday for him just to get measured. And I thought it was funny because Willow was there with us, and they're like, well, are you going to need to look at dresses? And I'm like, For what? Willow's
Oh,
dying of
let me say
laughter.
this. I am strongly considering gunning for. I don't know how it's details. It's still over 2 months out. I'm still strongly considering going to 4-state Harrisburg.
Same.
It's just a matter. It's just a matter of putting it out there, coordinating out somehow a way to get up there, whether it's through you or through George or
Well, see, the thing
what
of it
have you.
is,
It's just
is Al already lives in that area. So for us, it's just a matter of getting tickets. But we are, he already lives out toward there because Carlisle's only a hop, skip, and a jump from Harrisburg. But yeah, just keep me posted on that. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, it's figure something out. It's 2 months out.
August, yeah.
If you want, yeah, it's August. A little more. It's like end of August. Twist my arm if you have to.
We'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. It's I don't know. It's the details, whether it's you're going to come down on Saturday or do a Friday sort of thing. It's details.
Yeah.
So
I don't know when like my official back to school schedule starts, but no, it was funny because like we go in there and they're at, well, don't you need tuxes for the wedding party and dresses? And I'm like, and me and Willow are just dumb, like, who's getting married? She points to me. Well, aren't you? No, we're just getting a tux for an event. I said, I haven't had a case of the stupids in a long time, and I'm not planning on it anytime soon. And I look over at Al, I'm like, sorry, hon.
But in regards to 4-state with me, just I would like to. We're going to have to talk to about it, or at least by the end of July. That way, I can talk to my boss. That way, I can schedule at least those 2 days, if not 3 days off. Make sure that she doesn't put me down for those 3 days.
I gotta see when like back to school starts, because that's like right at the beginning of back to school. So I don't know if I'll be back on my normal shift or if I'll still be back on summer schedule. But we'll figure it out, because if not me, I can get George down that way, or
by that time, we'd know. You'd know your schedule by end of July probably, and all that ordeal. Even if George has to come down.
School district, they are not the most organized bunch.
Probably more organized than the Martinsburg meth heads around here.
I probably wouldn't prefer them as my employer some days. I really would. Especially when I get a notice of a banquet, like, oh, by the way, we're having a banquet tonight. And it's like, really? That's nice to know. I'm in the midst of entirely scrubbing this cafeteria and everything's packed up and put away. And I've got 3 hours to put everything back down. I hope I'm getting double pay. I'm not. Oh, gee.
But if George, you guys, let's say, like you said, it's something that we would have to coordinate with, even if George has to come down, pick me up, and you guys, on the reverse, brought me down. It's all stuff that we have to talk about and hoot nanny and go down.
We'll get it figured out. But yeah,
we'll anything
contribute goes to all of that and all the other fun stuff that we get into. So yes, drink Dubby.
And maybe one of these days, if things remain quiet outside, I might sit outside and record with my firelight. So
drink Dubby. Look at your friends' naked bits. Support them.
And whatever your friends' naked bits that you prefer.
Yes. And that's the show.
and remember, I'm a gamer. I'm wearing a bikini. I dare you to prove it.
If he makes enough money on one of them sites, we could probably make that happen. So OnlyFans, there's some our way.
Folks, let me just say this. If someone donates over $1,000 at the GoFundMe, I will legitimately go out, use some of the funds to buy a bikini top, and I will wear it for the show.
I'll wear one too. What the hell? Battle
I
scars and
will
all.
consider it a challenge. Consider it a challenge.
The
I will wear it
has
on
been
the
dropped. Hey, I think we figured out our tier system. Anyways, good night, and
Good night.
we'll catch you on the flips. All right, let me stop the record here.